it? Because I'm not seeing. All right, now
Yeah,
finally.
there we go.
It's like a damn game whenever this thing works. Anyway, it's Friday afternoon, folks. It's a little after 5, East Coast time. It is what it is. It's past the mic, and who are you?
The bold one, the cold one, John Colder, Lawson. Hey guys,
Yeah, that was nice. That was nice. Nice jacket too.
nice jacket.
I'm Brent Leary,
Oh my god,
and I am just so excited. I just got a new Rams hat. So
I mean,
new,
every day it's like, how do you get excited? Okay, go ahead, tell us. It's so
so
new
new that
about what?
I didn't even take off the
Oh,
stickers or anything yet.
okay. That's so
But I
80s.
just love this hat. The color scheme is just so nice.
That is
Mm.
so 80s.
No, I'm gonna take them off. I just got
Please take
excited.
them off.
I just got excited and said, I just want to wear it because it's new.
Okay. Where's the
I always,
hang tags?
I always feel better when I have a new Rams hat on.
Evidently. So you just do one every day.
I could no, I definitely could wear a different one every day for over a couple of months at this point.
Yeah,
That's pretty bad.
it is pretty
That's
bad.
pretty bad when you think
When
about
you
it.
look
But
at your closet and you be like, okay, that's how much I've spent
anyway.
on this
Yeesh,
whack
I'm
ass
not. I'm
team.
not looking in the closet. I don't want to do that to myself.
Okay.
Although I do buy
See?
most of them on discount, so at least I do that.
Okay. Well, me too. Me and my
Yeah,
credit
you'd
card.
buy everything on discount, like
That's it.
everything.
Dude, there's no reason to pay full price. It's the dumbest thing. I don't understand people that pay full price for stuff.
How much did you pay for the Prince jacket?
It was on sale. I don't remember. It was like 20% off or something like that. Um, but yeah, always when it goes on sale, that's when I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna grab it. You know.
I do that too.
Yeah, exactly. It's like there's always something on sale in that store.
It's what I buy a lot of this stuff from that Fanatic site.
And they're
Either
always sending you stuff.
oh my god, and you gotta do your work in order to get the best deal because they'll send you an email. So they got all these different affiliate sites, right?
Hmm.
So they got Fanatics, they got the NFL shop, they got the special shops for each team. So they got the Ram shop. So you're constantly getting emails, and they all sell the same stuff. So you're constantly getting emails, and sometimes you can get like I can get a hat on one site for like 20% off, but no free shipping. And then you go to the other site and you get like free shipping on everything that you buy, but you get like a 10% discount. So you really have to figure out where to buy it, at what time to buy it, under what discount code to buy it in order to really get your what money's worth. But I'm an expert at this, folks. So
Oh,
at
okay.
this
Yeah,
point, I
you
mean,
become
because I'm not
well
going to
rounded
spend.
in hat buying.
I'm not gonna. No, it's any kind of sports apparel on any of those sites. I
Yeah,
just buy nothing but Ram stuff. But that's the same.
and I'm
But
sure
anyway,
that goes on sale all the time.
it not as much as that Falcon gear.
Yeah,
They
Falcons fan, we stay
try to give it
popular.
away. Try to
We
give it
stay
away.
popular.
They're like in hopes of you winning one of these years.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, it's a big hope.
yeah. I mean, it's okay.
Keep hope alive. Somebody once
It's
said.
okay. I'll be all right.
Anyway,
What's up?
tariffs, kinda. I
Tariff.
mean, did we get some tariffs going into effect on a Tuesday, and
Tuesday.
then by a Wednesday, my man started doing the Michael Jackson moonwalking back. All right, we'll take it back to April for Canada. Oh, I guess we better do that the same with Mexico. I mean, what the hell is going on? Why are we in this weird spot where we have somebody who's running the country who does things by the seat of their pants?
He ain't
It's
got
just,
what happens when you have no plan, no
but
real plan.
and we elected that, and we knew what we were getting ourselves into, and yet and still we elected it. Can you imagine running a regular business?
No, I mean, that's why he went out of business so many times. That's why he went bankrupt so many times. I'm sure.
But isn't that also the reason he was elected? Because he was he positioned himself as a great deal maker and
Mhm.
a great business person. And what would you hire somebody who would? I mean, take the name and the personality out of the equation completely.
It's
Would
hard
you
to do.
hire somebody
That's
to
hard
run
to
your?
do.
I know it is, but try. Would you hire somebody to run your business that would make a major business decision one day and then the next day completely backtrack? Then the next, the day after that, come back at a slightly different angle. No real strategy, no real process, just seat of your pants. Would you really hire somebody to run your business like that?
No, absolutely not.
Why did the country do that?
Well, look at the choices.
Oh, okay. So, given the choices we had, this was the best choice.
No, I'm just saying. You asking why they did it. I can't come up with any other more
Oh, okay.
intelligent reason other than, well, it's like we had two choices, as we always do, and you know, God, it is what it is, man. We can't keep going back to that.
What? No, but apparently we can keep going back and forth on
Current stuff.
on things that you know. eh, Why is it that every economist that is just an economist, not a political person,
uh,
when you talk about tariffs, they all say the same. The basic impact is one thing.
price
Yet and
price
still,
increase.
the person that we elected in office says a completely opposite thing from all the actual economists that study and watch this daily. Why
I
is
mean,
it that
he's got a different perspective on tariffs than the current,
everybody else?
leaders today.
Now, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say the current leaders. I would say
Financial leaders.
I would say basically financial leaders throughout history.
Well,
I'm not coming up with this stuff. I'm just looking at all the people who are just that you didn't know anything about, because you didn't know nothing about their politics. They were just known as economists. They weren't associated to any real party. You didn't hear about their party affiliations. You just heard about their economic stuff. All those kind of people seem to think tariffs do this. But anybody who has some kind of political leaning, they're open to it not doing what everybody else says. And you have to say that you got to be honest with each other. It's their political leanings are kind of opening them up to look at tariffs in a completely different way than pretty much every other economist does. And yet and still, we're okay with that apparently as a country.
yeah, well, at least half of them.
It kind of goes back to that.
Here's the thing. What kills me is like everybody on Facebook now is a expert economist.
Yeah, nobody was even on Facebook. You're right. Nobody was talking about tariffs before now. And now, like you said, it's almost like AI. Now everybody's an expert in AI. 2 years ago, nobody could spell AI.
Right. Everybody's an expert.
Now everybody's an expert.
Yep.
People coming out with books.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about people.
Hey, I'm an expert now.
but at least you do your work, your homework, and all that. I'm talking about people who barely could spell AI before. Now they are the voice of reason in that. Now, and the same thing with tariff. People who you would follow for years would never talking about economics at all, let alone tariffs. No. Now they are the tariff gurus.
Yeah, they're gurus. But they all. I mean, these are talking points. They run with the talking points, and then they spin it and make it seem like, oh, I know what I'm talking about. They don't know nothing. They know absolutely nothing.
Couldn't we just ask people? Can we just ask people to go back and look at stuff from 10, 15, 20, 50 years ago when they were talking about tariffs. And they all said the same thing. So why, if you could go back in your time machine and look at what people said about tariffs 50, 60, 100 years ago, why is it all of a sudden it's different now? I don't get it.
Well, I mean, let's do this though. It's not like we didn't have any tariffs.
We've had it. We've had pricing wars before,
Right.
and what did it usually lead to? Inflation and consumers being the ones that had to pay the bulk of it. So how is it going to be different this time? I don't get it.
Well, I don't know. We're gonna see. We're gonna find out.
Is there an FA before that?
Yep. We're gonna fuck around and find out. I'll say it. And we're gonna have to live with it.
Do you think people are willing to live with it, or do you think they actually believe, like, Mexico was going to pay for some wall that we're going to build? They actually think that kind of thing could actually happen just because one person says they're going to make it happen?
When that person is the person you worship. I mean, hey, there's people that have been waiting on stuff that a 2,000, 6,000-year-old book has said. So, I mean, faith is a mother.
It's faith?
Oh, absolutely, it's faith. That's what they have. They have faith in this leader. It's all about faith. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's just play around a little bit. How did someone build up a faith for a leader, for this particular leader? Where do they grow this faith in this person to do what they think do what he says he's going to do?
I mean, he had a TV show. He's been a public figure most of his life. Okay. And he has a narrative that he plays into. This, I'm a very successful businessman, blah, 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 blah. But in reality,
well, I mean, it doesn't take a lot to see. You look at his history. How many times has he gone bankrupt? I mean, it's not like it's not out there for the public record. At least I think it might still be out there. I haven't looked lately. I don't know. Maybe it's starting to disappear.
I'm sure they're erasing it. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, let's put it like this. It didn't happen overnight.
Do you think that show is the main culprit in having people, I'm talking about the Accomplice or whatever it was called. I can't remember.
The Apprentice?
I like my title better, The Accomplice. Because whoever produced that show is responsible for where we're at today. Because without that show, I don't think we'd be here. I don't think he'd be where he is.
Well, I don't think they figured that the show would make a president out of it.
I'm sure they didn't, but we're going hindsight at this point. Okay. Without that show, because I think you're right. I think that show allowed him to really put that bold front to be like a real business person. Like, he's on TV, he's on a major network, and he's firing people that, in some instances, like people all know, like all the celebrity Accomplice. But he's on there talking about getting these business people, being able to hire and fire them, make them do things. And it really provided him this platform that he's the number one business person in the country. But it was a facade. It wasn't a real
absolutely. I mean,
show.
It was scripted reality TV. I mean, it's not like, let's just put it like this. It was made by the exact same people that make Survivor. Right?
And that's still on the air too, right?
It's still on the air. But the difference is Jeff Probst is not considered the best survivor in the world. The show didn't pump him or need to pump him as the host as being the best survivor. For the Trump show, they had to present the illusion that he was this highly successful and wise business person, and stories have come out from people on production teams and things like that about how this illusion was created, and how many times they had to, get him to practice what he was going to say, and how it took 3 or 4 hours just to get that 20 minutes of good footage where he came across as definitive and knew what he was talking about, how they surrounded him with actual people that were business people on left and right side. I mean, there's a whole lot that went into that show to make it as successful as it was. But at the same time, he walked away with this persona that was, let's put it like this: he didn't start in the ghetto, in the gutter. You know what I'm saying?
He was born the son of a poor multimillionaire.
Right. But I mean, they had to build that office that he, that boardroom and that office. That was a set. That was not a room in his actual building. You know what I'm saying? People don't understand the illusion. All of it was illusion. I mean, he didn't come up with, any of the premise of how these people were going to do the work. There were people, their whole teams writing this stuff. So, I mean, it is what it is. He was the benefactor for sure, And then, if you think about it, he ran for president like 2 or 3 times before he won, at least 2.
Well, I know he ran in 20. Well, his first official run, I thought was 2016, but you said he ran before that?
I think he ran before that. It was very short-lived, but I think he did run twice before.
All right, so let's say he did run twice before. Were those times he ran before the show became a hit?
Yeah, I think one of them was while the show was on air.
So there's
I
line
need to
of
look it up because I don't want to. Let me ask ChatGPT because of course it's going to
ask away. But here's what I'm thinking: even if he ran while he was on the show, I'm guessing the show wasn't at the level it was before it ended. And then he was able to run based off of wherever the show was when it ended.
Well, no. What do you mean when it ended? It was number 1 from day one.
I mean, but most people not everybody heard of it, let alone watched it day one. I mean, every show takes some time to build a loyal audience, not just let's see if this is going to be as bad as I think kind of audience. And because I might have watched it, I think I watched some of it the first year. Then I was like,
well, I mean, the thing is, the first year he wasn't the star of the show.
See, I don't remember any of that.
Yeah,
I just remember you're fired. That's all.
Well, yeah, the first year the star of the show was Omarosa.
She was the star.
Absolutely, people were tuning in to see what she was going to do next.
Yeah, but nobody knew who she was. I mean,
well, yeah, it doesn't. She's on TV. It doesn't take long. Once you're invested and you're on TV every week and you're giving good TV, you start becoming part of the zeitgeist of people talking.
That's true, but could she only have been on 1 year because they get a whole new?
He was only on for 1 year,
right? But he was the constant. I mean,
but I'm saying that it wasn't him that was driving the show; it was her that was driving the show. Now, then we had the premise set up, and then now they got to pick another set of people that will bring the drama. It is the people that drive that kind of show.
Yeah,
now, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like it's fun to get to the point where we're at the boardroom and all the dirty laundry comes out, but we ain't tuning in just because Trump's there. It's the people and putting people in weird situations.
Well,
that's the formula.
But he's the constant. Like you have all those pieces. Those are the pieces to the puzzle. But he's the piece that's there every year. And so as the drama rises, as the new faces tear each other apart, who's there with the catchphrase? I can't recall any particular thing any of the guests said, but I know one thing: you're fired. Who
Yeah, I
said
mean,
that?
yeah, that's definitely for sure. It
Yeah,
was a constant. You
and
know,
I think after years, and like you said, as the years went by, uh, he was of course the face and the voice,
he became
and
the sage,
and
the
he's the
whisperer.
sage. You're right, the sage,
Yes.
and he had the power to fire well-known people because they started
Yeah,
doing the
that's what I'm about to
celebrity
say. They
thing.
elevated it when they put, stars on the show.
Yeah, so
And
I'm
then the
saying,
stars raised millions and millions of dollars, for
yeah,
charities while they were on the
and
show.
look at how much attention the stars brought to that show.
Oh, absolutely.
So that raised his profile to an unbelievable
Right.
level,
Because
and it
now he's
raised it,
above even those people that were, you
and
know,
it was all built on the pretext of him being a business guru,
yes.
and that's why that show led to what we're going through right now.
Yeah.
If he didn't have that show, I don't think he'd be president.
Okay. Probably, maybe. I don't know. I mean, there's other presidents that have come from nowhere, and suddenly become president. It
Uh,
only takes a little bit. I mean,
but he didn't come from like you said, he's been a known quantity since the early 80s. It
yeah,
wasn't like no,
yeah.
we didn't know who he was, but we knew who he was in a certain, like even the rappers back,
See,
even our,
I would almost argue that. Oh, okay.
you please don't say the rappers made him the president.
No, I was gonna almost argue if it wasn't for Barack Obama, he would never be president.
I would say that's the second part of it.
Yeah,
But if he didn't have the show, even if I don't think, well, we know the seedlings were set in stone, well, into the earth when he got roasted by Barack Obama at that correspondence dinner thing. And what did he roast him on? Uh, Donald being able to make those tough decisions, whether Schnooky will be able to sit next to. So I mean, he had to sit there seeing
okay,
because he got completely roasted about his show.
okay. So he ran in 2000 for the Reform Party.
Of course,
That's what it
nobody
was.
even knows what the hell that was.
So I'm just saying, but so he did that. He dropped out before the primary season ended. So that's the
Okay.
first time he ran. Then he ran in 2016, 2020,
Okay. See
2024.
there.
He's
So
run
there you
four
go.
times.
There you go. If
Yeah.
that show wasn't there, he
He
would
would
have
be
been.
another Reform Party.
He'd be. What's that lady that's always running on the Green Party that messed
Mhm,
us up a couple of
mhm.
years back?
Yeah, yeah,
Stein, or think her name.
yes.
So we don't even know these people's names.
I mean, but there's a whole lot of, and it's funny, people forget it was the spectacle of having him in the race, and we gave him a lot of grace. He was like a staple on CNN that whole first run. It wasn't like he was on Fox News every night. He was on CNN every
Oh, he
night.
wasn't on Fox back then.
I mean, not every night. No, he was on CNN every night. They couldn't get enough of Donald Trump.
Wow.
Yeah, you forget about that, man. It's like, yeah, because they thought, and the other thing was they actually were rooting for Donald Trump because they thought he could never win.
See,
So
I knew that part, but
they felt very safe putting him out there,
oh,
and they were like,
so
he's
they
got
just
a
wanted the ratings, basically.
who?
CNN wanted the ratings because they didn't feel like there was any real way that he could win, but they could get a lot of ratings by putting them on.
Yeah, he's a TV star.
Okay, that makes sense. I get
Yeah,
that.
but also I think politically or political pundits didn't feel like he was going to be taken all that seriously,
Yeah, but think
especially if
about
you
what you.
remember the clown car they had, like 16 people running,
Yeah,
But when he got on that stage and made that joke about what's her name?
oh,
Like,
he called her ugly or something, her face.
yeah, well, they didn't call her anything.
Carly
It's just
Fiorina.
no, no, no. Where he said that about the old TV host.
The
What was?
old TV host.
Yeah, the lesbian from Daytime Talk. She had her own show, Rosie.
Oh,
Rosie O'Donnell. When he said, I only said that about Rosie O'Donnell.
oh, that was a good
And
line.
that was a showstopper line. And he got so much press after that. It was crazy.
The thing about so a showstopper line, and then you said he was on CNN because why? Because he was a TV show star.
Yep.
If he had, once again, it goes back to that damn TV show.
Then he had the hot mic incident.
I don't even I can't remember the hot.
Yeah. We talked about grabbing by the
once again, and a lot of people thought that was funny.
They did.
Yeah.
Right. And then remember that apology video where he looked like mad, like Max Headroom had background. It was the weirdest video set ever. Oh my God. So there was just so many little things like this that propelled him to the top. And then look who he was running against. A lot of people just didn't want to kill him.
Yeah, that's true. That is definitely true. I would say more than just didn't like her. There's a lot of people that just downright hated her.
Exactly. And then he beat everybody on the other side, and it was just those two.
So once again, I blame the TV show for this. And like you said, you got to throw in.
I blame all of TV.
And you got to blame Barack Obama for roasting him, because you could see he was seething as he was.
Roasted. Of course. And we didn't really know the character of Donald Trump like we know now, but oh my God, that must have really, and it goes all the way back to, because anybody else that it has embarrassed him like that, he has taken down. And here he was sitting right next to him, glad-handed and having a good conversation, which was really weird too. But they've got a relationship. I don't know what it is, but they've got one.
There is. Well, I tell you who does.
I think they respect each other.
There's like a presidential club respect kind of thing.
Yeah, I think there's something a little bit even more deeper than that. Because, like I said, for him to roast Donald Trump, anybody that's ever roasted Donald Trump never gets to sit with him and just be like, "Hey, what's up?"
Right. Well, here's one. I think what's going on with the situation in Ukraine goes back to he feels like Zelensky personally derailed him from winning in 2020.
Absolutely.
You're right, that he holds grudges like nobody else.
That's right. He is a petty person. Petty person. So
I blame who's the creators of The Accomplice, that Mark, what's his name? Mark something?
I can't think of it right now, but it's a Mark guy.
Yeah, his name is Mark. I think his first name is Mark. And he, like you said, he's done a lot of these reality TV shows. Reality TV is doomed us. And you know what? It's also done. It led the way to what's going on, today with no-name people getting able to build millions of people in their subscriber base, like what's the Mr. Beast, or the Jake Paul guy, or what the guy that does that, the comedian that has the biggest podcast, Joe Rogan. I mean, remember back in the day when he was ahead of the game. What's that guy, the shock jock, Howard Stern? Yes. Remember when he left Celestial Radio and he was the first guy to get that huge deal with Sirius. It was like $100 million for a year, and people were like, "Oh my God, that's crazy! They're gonna lose their shirt off of this." People laughing at him? That might have been the best $100 million spent when it comes to kind of future-proofing your business. I don't know how they're doing now because he's still there, but all this other stuff has happened. But it happened because they opened it up to go off the kind of the reservation, so to speak, and to try this cloud-based, non-celestial radio, and they bought the biggest name at the time. And I think that's the first step in all this, is that deal. Maybe even beyond the what happened with the accomplice. I think them showing that you can make money, and people will follow, people will pay. Remember, we were just used to listening to that dude for free. And they took him off of the freemium and put him on a premium that they were, had the paywall for, and his audience followed him, and they were willing to pay the money. Who would have thought that 10 years or 20 years ago?
I don't know.
I would love to find.
I'm trying to think back.
I would love to,
but influence. We just didn't have the tools.
But I would love to
influence. Like
I would love to be able to talk to the person who made that call, who said, "Let's get Howard Stern. Will pay him $100 million a year. We're going to take him off celestial radio, and we're going to make people who love him pay a monthly fee so that they can hear him." That was unheard of before that happened.
Yeah, pretty much. At least for that price.
I don't even remember how much the subscription was. Do you? Like, it wasn't a lot of money back then.
I mean, because that was, what was that, XM radio?
Is either Sirius or XM.
Sirius, one of the
before
two.
They merged.
Right. And I mean, was $100 million that much for that kind of corporation? I don't know.
I don't recall ever hearing about them really before all that. That deal really put them on the map. I thought. Maybe they had a lot of subscribers before. I thought that was like
I mean, they burned a lot of money up front. I remember you used to buy rent-a-cars and they'd give it to you for free. It's just they spent a lot of money launching that. But
I think the line of delineation was when they put that much money into one person.
Yeah, as opposed to a bunch of little shows. It's like, let's just stick it all together and put it in, I don't know. I'm trying to think of, my brain is trying to remember all the way back, and if anybody else had a deal like that simply for their audience.
There would be no Joe Rogan if that deal didn't work out the way it did.
No, of course not. There would be no internet talk if that deal didn't work out.
I mean, yeah, because like YouTube was already doing their own thing, and they weren't worried about that. Has YouTube ever like bought a personality? I'm sure they've done that, or some. They had to experiment with buying a personality to stick out there and maybe drive some. But they didn't have to, because they had a good moat. They still got a good moat. And they had a platform that if the right person came along and knew what to do with it, like Mr. Beast, apparently, they could do it without having the big name. I mean, how many net people do you think personalities like a Mr. Beast actually brought to YouTube, as opposed to, now creators going to YouTube to try to, capture an audience that's already there? I'm guessing like the Mr. Beast, they actually bought more new people to watch videos than actually depended on people that were already there watching videos and subscribing. How many people were like that before Stern came to XM Sirius with that proposition of, leaving Celestial, give you 100 million, and you bring your audience to us? YouTube.
Yeah, well, I mean, he didn't have an audience. I mean, Mr. Beast built his audience through YouTube. That was a symbiotic.
Yeah, but no, Stern had an audience, but
that's a relationship that worked together. And even Stern, I mean, whatever radio syndication deal he had, that
syndication,
is how he, because they would take you from a regular, one station jock, and then they would syndicate you. It's
all over the country, like Tom Joyner, I guess.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people didn't. What's that?
Why didn't maybe I don't know. Why didn't folks like a Tom Joyner or a Ricky Smiley or Steve Harvey? Why didn't they ever do the deals like they did with Howard Stern?
Because they're black. What part are we? What are we missing?
But they got an audience. They got a valuable
Because they're
audience.
black.
Mm.
I mean, there's no other reason other than that. I mean, literally, Tom Joyner was the original fly jock. Come on.
And there was him. There was actually, you remember the guy that was on Video Soul, Donnie Simpson? He was one of those early radio guys that
Yeah.
they were starting to syndicate.
But I mean,
There's
and I'm not when I say they're black, when I say that, I just want to. We're talking about a very a minority audience share. So it's like, hey, this audience can only reach in their minds this level.
Yeah, because they only make up 10% of the overall population, something like that. Probably.
Is it that low now?
No, back then it might have been. Now I think we're at 13% or 14% or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I mean, it's like they're like, okay, well, what's the high water mark going to be? Well, it's going to be a percentage of the 13% of the country. Then you got, the majority, and somebody that runs and can put those numbers together, and that's how they would think about a deal.
How about that? Think about that from the Howard Stern perspective. Like you were saying, he was probably the most syndicated DJ back then. So he already had a pretty significant pot of money coming in through the syndication deals. Do you think it was brave of him to go out?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
I think he wanted the freedom. I think more than anything, the money was great for him, but I think the freedom was great for him because he would be able to say anything he wanted to say.
So he had to worry about FCC.
To worry about the FCC.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so I think it was a win-win. That was a win-win deal.
See that makes
and he owned part of the show now.
So that makes it even more a milestone of sorts because nobody has to, or at least not at the moment, nobody has to worry about any of that FCC stuff if you're just doing what we're doing right here.
Yeah.
And so he proved not only that he could carry an audience of make them pay make the user pay, or the listener pay versus making a business pay for syndication. So the business model completely changed, and he proved that FCC doesn't really matter when you are able to talk directly to the folks paying a monthly subscription.
That's the most important part.
Yeah. As long as you're not offending or you're not turning off the people paying now, because now the individual is paying, not the business. So you only worry about your relationship with your audience.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say, I hadn't really deeply looked at how big that was, but it was huge because it was so different. And there's risks on pretty much all sides because you didn't know if it was going to work. You didn't know if people are going to be willing to pay.
Well, they had nothing to lose because nobody was listening.
But they put out a chunk of money. They were going to lose that. And it worked out.
Well, you could do that. You figure like this, bro. You could do that or you can do a Super Bowl commercial.
At least you give yourself a little bit more time, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, hey, I'm sure Super Bowl commercials back then were probably like 40 million, 50 million.
What to make and then to put on
the air? To put on and yeah, it's like we can do that or we can buy this guy.
Do you remember how that was rolled out? I have no idea how that was rolled out, but it had to be a significant rollout because it was such a different kind of way of
I also think there was a time where he had to it was like he left and then like 6 months later his new show started, so there was a gap there too.
Right, so they had to promote that and build it up and all that kind of stuff.
and that's definitely was a risk. I don't think it was it. Hindsight now, it looks like smart deal. So,
But I don't even remember like when it first aired. Did it tank, or did it take a while for it to really build up steam and catch on? I have no idea how
well, see,
it worked out.
and nobody probably will, because I'm sure they didn't put those numbers out because they didn't have to.
Right, right.
You know, they're not reporting with any of the major, listener streaming numbers, the Nielsen's and things like that, ratings. So, but I'm sure it took some time because, and I honestly, I still don't know how they got their money back. But you think about it, okay, 100 million. How many subscribers do you need?
Plus, let's put it like this: aren't they also having to pay for content from other people? It's not just they were paying him, and he's the only one getting paid. Where other people, they were putting money investing into other people, not to that level,
Not to that level, though. I
because
don't
they
even
had to
know if
have
they
more
had a
than
whole lot. Yeah, it was very easy. It's easy to find marginal talent. Look,
oh, shut up. Anyway, so and thinking back to those times, the only things that I remember subscribing to are some stuff like HBO. Um, was Netflix even around back then? Like 20 years ago? I remember Blockbuster, and that was just you pay
I
for
mean, all
each
of it was cable.
yeah, you pay cable, but cable gave you an assortment, like not
Yeah,
just one
it was a
thing.
package deal.
Yeah, I'm talking about like a one-off
One-off subscription.
subscription.
No, because that wasn't even a one-off subscription. You get all those
Yeah,
music
you would get
channels.
it. Yeah, but the only reason most people were getting it was because of him. I mean, at that
Really?
at that time, yeah, I think so.
I don't
I
know.
don't even
The
remember.
music was better. We
Yeah, I
didn't have
guess so.
commercials.
But let's put it like this: if it was working so great, why would they pay him 100 million?
Oh no, it wasn't working great because nobody was going to pay.
Because
Yeah,
you're
you're
used
right.
to getting it on the radio
'Cause
for
you
free.
can get music anywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, and we also were we were just getting into the um iPod age, right? There was Napster, so we were just used to getting our stuff for free, man. I mean, we weren't paying nothing to listen to the radio. That was so
Napster.
crazy to me. Why would I pay money to listen to the radio?
I used to love some Napster.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Man, oh
surprised
man.
you didn't get caught up in that mess.
Yeah, well, I knew how to do it, Dave. I just turn it on and turn it right off. I was a taker, not a giver.
You know, why am I not surprised?
Exactly.
But I think of all the things we talk about as big events in history from a technology standpoint,
Mhm.
that's when I think it's overlooked. The impact that going off of celestial radio into, what do we call that? It wasn't called internet radio back then, was it?
No, because it wasn't an internet. It was just
Well, there was an internet in the early
paid
2000s.
subscription radio or something.
Yeah, but that if
Because
it wasn't,
that was basically in the car. You weren't listening to it on your computer.
didn't they buy? Didn't they end up? Well, they had their own device, right? Didn't they have like a little
Did they?
device? I thought they had a little device.
Maybe.
I think they. I thought, or well, we know that at least they had some kind of subscription service, and you had to turn to a specific channel on your. I thought they had a device though. I thought they had some kind of device that you had to put in your car, and then listen to it. You had a chance to listen to it. I could be wrong because I never.
I'm guessing at some level they did because you used to have a special antenna to pick it up. I don't know.
So just think about what it took to pull that off beyond, paying 100 million to Howard Stern. You had to get people to buy a device, or I guess maybe they
Yep.
gave them the device because it's almost sort of like,
Probably.
it's kind of like getting a printer. You give it a cheap printer, then it costs $1,000 every time you needed a new cartridge or something.
Or cable box. You get the cable box
With a cable box.
You can rent
All
that,
right.
and then they charge you a little bit every month. So that's like once you install it, you're gonna have it. You're gonna keep it because you got this ugly antenna on top of your car.
So that was really a big
It was a big
moment.
change. It was a big change.
Yeah, it was a big sea change.
Absolutely.
But I don't think
But again, like we were talking about before this morning, we don't even think about it anymore.
I don't even think. Did we think about it a lot even when it was happening?
Probably not as much because we had the MP3 players and stuff going around at the same time, which probably squished a lot of its grandeur.
How
But it
much?
still worked.
Yeah.
I
How
mean,
much?
like I said, most of the times, the only time I hear it was in a rent-a-car.
Yeah, 'cause I have never paid for a subscription to XM or Sirius and none of that
I
stuff.
did for 1 or 2 years.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I remember doing that, and it was when they had it on desktop, so I could get streams on desktop. And they made a great, it's like we bought a new car and it came with the car, and then I just kept it for a couple of years.
So
It's like
that was a
$60 a year.
huge because I'm thinking, what did I subscribe to? What was the first thing I subscribed to? Do you remember like the first thing? And I'm not including like HBO or something because that was kind of traditional when we came of age, having like a
Oh,
HD.
Netflix.
Was that the first thing you subscribed to?
I'm pretty sure. You talking about entertainment wise? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, Netflix. Easy.
Did you ever do like the Book of the Month Club? I actually did that for a while. Or remember when you had those music
Oh yeah.
subscription services?
Yeah, the for the music.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still looking for me.
Yeah, because they had those contracts for life kind of things.
It's be like, dude, you're gonna get something sent in the mail, and if you don't send it back in 14 days,
You gonna
you're
pay for
paying
it.
for it. Yes, that was crazy.
So that was the first kind of monthly content subscription thing. Yeah, I subscribed to like a record of the month and
Oh, you know what?
what?
First thing I ever subscribed to would probably be it.
Now I was subscribing to stuff before the NPG club.
That would be my first.
But I don't remember. Was that a monthly? I thought I just paid like a one time.
I thought it was monthly. I don't know.
I don't
Maybe
recall.
when it first launched, it was like probably one payment.
I think that's what happened. You
Mhm.
ended up buying the music because remember, it wasn't like you were
got
getting free
access.
stuff.
Yeah,
Right?
you were paying for access.
Yeah.
Ugh, that's crazy.
So, but once again, Prince was far ahead
Way far ahead.
because he was using the internet as a distribution channel
Yes.
well before most other people.
Way far ahead. Yeah. I used to, subscribe to newsletters.
Like physical newsletters?
Yeah,
Or?
physical newsletters. I remember doing that.
Seems like I did that a couple of times too.
Like for like real estate.
I believe I remember doing that.
Stuff like that.
So books, music, newsletters, physical newsletters.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
the subscription model has been around for a while.
it has, but it has more. But I don't think we subscribe to some things like we do now.
No, everything's a subscription base now.
Yeah, but
it's a little annoying.
But that Howard Stern moment of going off of the traditional channels and going to something completely new,
crazy.
That's a huge moment that I don't think a lot of people really give a lot of credit to how game changing that was.
I think it would be good now in hindsight to do a deep dive on that.
Yeah, I think so.
It'd be kind of cool to see.
I would love to talk to the whoever it was at XM Series that came up with that, that deal. Like,
yeah,
why did you do that?
Who did you have to convince?
Yeah, who did you have to really convince on that one?
That was
because giving somebody $100 million back then,
it's a lot.
That's a big deal.
It's a lot.
And I mean, Joe Rogan would never have gotten what he gotten if that thing didn't work out right.
Crazy.
Do you think that deal, Howard Stern, did that have any impact on like what happens with the Mr. Beast? I mean, it's not directly correlated because Mr. Beast, like you said, leveraged YouTube
Well,
and
I just, um, I don't know if that one did, but I definitely feel like Mr. Beast will have the same sort of effect.
I think
That,
you're right about that.
yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of creators now that will get paid because Mr. Beast made the leap.
He crossed over to mainstream because his deal with Amazon with that show or whatever.
Yep. And
Um,
he had me cracking up. You should really listen to that interview. But he was talking about, I didn't. They were like, "You got $100 million to do this." He's like, "Bro, I don't have none of that money. I made very little. Matter of fact, he's like, I think I lost money on that deal."
mm,
He said, "But it's a long-term deal." He's like, he gave out 30 million of it on the show. That's what he's like,
yeah,
"Bro,
but
I gave out 30 million in cash on the show. Plus, I had to build all the sets out of that money." I was like, wow. When he started breaking it down, I was like, damn. And then, because you've seen some of his videos, right? When
mhm.
he one of those big ones, bro, he was saying on there that they were, ooh, that's
What
cool.
the
They
hell?
were they would crash uh uh
What, servers or something, or
well, what's the name of the video edit program?
video edit
Adobe.
program?
They would
Oh,
crash.
Premiere Pro.
Yeah, no, they would crash Adobe.
Oh, like the site.
Yes,
Oh, the
yes,
Creative Cloud site.
because yes, yeah, because all of it's on. He's like they couldn't keep up with us, so they
Wow.
ended up having to create a whole server area just for the people or the editors on the show. And I was thinking about it. He's like, yeah, he's like, we run uh, GoPro cameras from all angles 24/7 for these people
Oh
because
my
we want to
God.
catch everything. Never thought about that, But now that he started breaking it down, I'm like, wow. And then somebody's got to edit all that stuff. So he's talking about the
Ugh.
number of editors, you know. It's a hell of a process that he's
It's
running.
I bet it is, and as much as it costs him, he's gonna continue doing it.
Yeah, well, I mean, like you said, it's got to be good the first time. You see, like it's got to be over. You got to overdo it the first time.
So I would say he's like the modern day equivalent to the Howard Stern moment from
Somewhat. I don't know
20.
if Howard Stern is all that great at production, and I,
No, I'm talking
you
about
know, but yeah, definitely.
the game change moment
This is
of
one. This is one.
this is potential. Now, not, of course, he's not. I don't believe there's going to be a whole bunch of people that'll even get close to what he's doing, but there are going to be folks that are going to be, do some really fascinating things that they wouldn't have dreamed of doing if they didn't have him doing
Yep.
what he did, kind of opening the door.
Yeah.
Um, I look at and you're seeing more of these internet content creators make it big. What's your girl who did Insecure? Didn't she start on the internet?
She sure did.
Issa Rae, your buddy that you got a
Issa.
picture with. Issa
Yeah.
Rae,
Issa
yes.
Rae. What a beautiful lady.
Yeah, and so she got started. Now she's doing movies and got, I guess, production deals or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, you're seeing that happen, and I don't. Hmm. This is the funny thing about all of that. Our mutual buddy Jeff Brathwaite,
Jetty.
his sister, who is an actress and a producer and a director, but she is an actress. And 12 years ago, they started that Comedy Divas channel. And remember, they were doing these really high production spoof videos of like the Real Housewives and
Right.
the Basketball Wives of Atlanta. And they were funny and they looked like real TV shows, and they were on the internet. They were so far ahead of their time because now, if they had stuck with it and we all know that, I'm not faulting them for not sticking with it. They didn't know how this was going to work. Nope, nobody's going to know how this is going to work. But now you've got these folks like that, the Dude Perfect folks, or the RDC World One folks, that have millions of subscribers, getting millions of views. And these, Jeff and his sister and her friends were doing as good a production, if not better, back then. But they might have been a little ahead of their time, because now these, like, I saw the RDC World folks, they're hanging out with like LeBron James. I mean, he did something during one of those all-star basketball week. He was the guy that the head guy there. He was a part of that. He was running around interviewing folks. I mean, these folks are now they're finding the ways to mainstream. And now you got, of course, Club Shay Shay and all these guys, although they're a little different to me because they were already stars and people knew them either from sports, so they were able to leverage their already being a star into this stuff. But they did it, so I'm not taking anything away from them, but it's just a different pathway than like the complete unknowns. Like, nobody knew who Mr. Beast was, when he first got started.
No, they had no idea who he was.
Absolutely. So he's in a whole other realm. Marquise Brownlee, it's like that on a much smaller scale, but he's still got like 16 million subscribers. He's doing interviews with Tim, what's his name, from Apple. I mean, doing sit down face to face. How many people can say that?
Not a lot.
Not a lot. But he leveraged. He was doing like tech reviews when he was like 12 or 13 or something like that.
That's
a black kid too. Think about it. It's a black kid too. I know that might not mean something to some others, but when we were coming up, how many black experts were on TV?
Techsperts.
Yeah, there weren't that many. There still aren't that many.
There still aren't. I'm kind of like, okay.
And this kid, because he's still a young guy, I don't even know, he might be in his early 30s.
Everybody's a kid to you, sir.
But he, just through what he did on YouTube or social media, getting sit down one-on-one interviews with the CEO of Apple. That says a lot.
Well, that says a lot about his following and his influence. I mean, that's the key.
He could put a video out and within an hour has over 1 million.
Yeah, and it'll tank a company. I mean, his video, well, I mean, the product was trash too, but that little square thing.
This thing?
Oh, you got one of those things? Yeah.
It's like a terrible.
He chewed that one up, and the wearable pen.
Yeah, I forgot about that one. All these AI devices. Yeah.
But you can't.
But you know what? I think
you can't come to market with trash, man.
I think to a certain extent, all that has happened with this explosion, you got to kind of take it back to that leaving the plantation, going out off the known territory and striking it out on almost sort of like, hey, tin panning in the 1840s.
Oh my God.
I haven't used that.
Wow, really?
Anyway, it's fun. It's fun to we should do some deep dives into some of these things that happen that really have changed the world. I mean,
we'll do that. We'll do a little series on that.
Even changing how you and I do things.
We should do a little series on that.
Yeah, because there's a lot of things that maybe people aren't looking at deeply enough to see how impactful that thing was. And just thinking about this Howard Stern thing really set me off to that, because I remember what it was.
Ready to go? You ready to run?
No, I just remember nobody was ascribing to much of anything before that. And I'm not saying that's responsible for all of that, but it was a big milestone or a timeline item that he
Yeah.
left, and that could have sunk. And what if it hadn't have been successful? Do you think none of this stuff would have been happening, or do you think
No,
eventually?
something else would have jumped it off. I mean, technology always wins.
Hmm.
Well, not always, but most of the time, you know.
Well,
So
yeah.
something
Anyway,
would have.
this is actually pretty interesting because I didn't know.
For me and you,
Yeah, what happened? Everybody,
everybody just
early weekend.
yeah, they just bailed on us, bro.
Oh
So
wow.
just allowed us to just
Even
have a,
even our girl Amber was
Amber, even Amber. Although I've had Amber on 2 calls today, so
she tired of you then.
yeah, she probably is.
Anyway, I'm tired of you now, so I'm ready to get
So,
on.
goodbye.
All right. So you around next week?
Yes.
All right, folks. I think I am. So we will see you next Friday. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the week. And report back here 5 Eastern
Yep.
next Friday.
Peace.
Later.